Okay, so hi, welcome to the second session on iOS development training. Okay, so in the first session, we have seen like some basics about the Swift language and some introduction to iOS development. So in this session, we'll be going through application life cycle, the application delegate, and then we will start to design the interface for our application. Okay, so some basics of UI designing and some basic views and controls. Okay, so let's get started with the application life cycle. Application life cycle or app life cycle in short. So this application life cycle means the sequence of all the events that occurs between when you launch the application and uh, the termination of that application. So launch, you can launch the application. Also, you can terminate the application. Also, system can terminate the application. Based on the memory availability and uh, the load on the processor, all those things. So system also terminates your application means so your application is open, but that's in the background, and user is interacting with other applications, and the memory is limited, and then there is a load on processor. So what the system does is the system means here iOS. Okay, so what it does is it terminate your application which is in background. User is not interacting with your application. Okay, so there's a priority set for that. Okay, so the application life cycle, when coming to it has total 5 execution states, uh, as shown in diagram also and in there. So first one is not running state. So this is the default state, you can say, because your application is not opened, it's installed, but it's in users home screen. It's looking in it's we can see it in users home screen. If we go to simulator, let's consider this files is your application. Okay, so this application is not opened here. Okay, it's not in the memory. uh, so this is not running state. Okay, your application is not running at all. When you click on it, then it start the launching your application. Okay, so during launching, uh, you can see the launch screen. Okay, so when you tap on the app icon, uh, system immediately shows you the launch screen which you have designed over there. So what at that time, during this time, the system loads all the your all the files and everything related to your application in the memory. Okay, so that requires some time. So that for that some time, you will see the launch screen over there. Okay, so uh, at the time of launch screen, this is open now already. So when this launch screen is appearing, in this state, your app is in the foreground. It comes the foreground. Foreground means there are foreground and background. So foreground is the opposite of background. Okay, so your application is coming to foreground, but it's in the inactive state. So inactive state means your application is active. Sorry, your application is foreground but not receiving any user inputs or user interactions. So user is not interacting with your application, but it's active and it's performing some tasks in the background. Okay, okay, then the active state is, this state is when user is actually interacting with your application. So so now I am interacting with this. I am clicking on here on their buttons, on those things, everything. So this is interaction. Okay, user interaction. So user is interacting with your application, and when the application is foreground, that state is called active state. Okay, so and when the user is not interacting, it's the inactive state. So then next is background state. Let's consider uh, user has minimized your application, and he is opening up another application here. Okay, so in this case, this application, the another application is in the active mode and it's in the foreground, but your application here, it's in the background. Okay, it's in the background. It's you can, you know, that you can do some task in the background also. For that you have to configure separately. Okay, so in background your app can perform some tasks, but you know, it's in the background as the other application has taken over the user interface. Okay, so that's the background state. Then, you know, then the fifth stage is suspended state. So if this is your application and you can terminate the application, you know, by swiping this up or down. Okay, by dismissing it. So this is called the termination. So termination you can do, or otherwise if you are opening the multiple applications over here and the, you know, the memory is full. Memory here means the RAM. The RAM has not enough space to accommodate your this application. So you know what the OS does is it simply terminates your application. Okay, so that's called the suspended state. Okay, so there are total 5 states. Not running state means your application has not been, user haven't been opened your application yet. Second one is inactive. It means it's in the foreground, but it's not receiving any user interactions or user inputs. Third one is active state, means it's in the foreground. It's in foreground and it's receiving user interactions and user inputs. So next one is background state, when your application goes to the background. Application goes to the background, you know, in another case, like if this is your application and it's open here, and you know, user receive a phone call. So user accepts and user is talking on phone. At that time also your app goes to background state. Okay, and the fifth one was suspended state, means your application is suspended. So these two states are in foreground and this one state is in the background. Okay, so this was application life cycle. And you know, where you can get these things like where is the my application currently at which state. So we got that information from application delegate or simply app delegate. Okay, so what is the application delegate is, you know, so it inherits from the UI responder class. So and implements the, you know, UI application delegate protocol. So what are the protocols are those things we will look later. Uh, then it's like, you know, application delegate or app delegate is like the main root point of your app or main entry for your iOS app. And in order to get notified about, you know, user events and you know, this life cycle stages, like app launch or app is entered in the background or it's in foreground or the app has terminated. So this can all be done through application delegate. Okay, and you know, UI responder class, what it does is uh, it makes, you know, when you know, use implemented this UI responder protocols, this class functions are all those things. So app delegate has the ability to respond to the user events. So user events, like when you are minimizing the application, so that's the user event. Okay, so if you are minimizing this, so to receive this, you know, the app delegate class receive this information that user has been minimizing app. So app is moving to background state. So that comes from UI responder class. Okay, or you know, you receive the push notifications over here. Sometimes, you know, when you tap on that push notification, so that information is also you know, it come to this app delegate class only. So uh, the user get in notified, you know, from there only. We get notified from the app delegate class only. Right?
Means, sir, we can say that it can manage application lifecycle.
Yeah,
Is
the
it?
app delegate manages application lifecycle and other application
Okay.
delegate um, file classes.
Okay.
So we
Okay,
will
sir.
look into that. So in the last session, we had created one test app. Like, okay, so I am opening that in Xcode. So you can see this is the app delegate class, app delegate script. Okay. So during when we created the project, so Xcode by default created this class for us. If you see here, so this is the class name. This is also a class only app delegate. From where it inherits from is UI responder. Okay, so UI, when you go to UI responder, so it's also a class, and it inherits from NS object and UI responder some other classes. Okay, so this is the this is the parent class of app delegate. Okay, so it comes from your responder, and as we said, like it has to implement the UI application delegate protocol. So this is this is the protocol. It implements this protocol. If you go to the UI application delegate protocol, you can see there are lot of functions. So protocol functions. So first one is application did finish launching. Then second is application will finish launching with options, and then application did finish launching with options. Application did become active. You can see like app cycle methods all are there. So if you come to this first method, will finish launching with options. This method is got called at the time when you launch your application. Okay, when you click on it, and when the launch screen of that application is being displayed. Okay, at that particular point in time, what is happening, your app is being getting launched. So before just finishing that launch, this method gets called. Okay, then did finish launching with options. So this one calls after the launch of your application. If you have to perform any task, so before the launch of application, like if you have to initialize anything, those things, so you will do in this function. Or you have to do something after finishing the launch of your application. Okay, so you can do that here over here method. So here are some methods already uh, already written over here by default by Xcode. So these are only your application methods. So first one is did finish launching with options. So what it said, override point for customization after application launch. If you have to do any customizations after application launch, you can do here. Okay, so the next one is application did become active. Okay, so you launched your application. The application has been launched and it become active, means it's receiving the user interactions. It's ready for to receive the user interactions. Okay, at that particular state, this function gets called. Okay, application did become active. Next one is application will resign active. Okay, so now uh, user has got any phone call or anything. Okay, so your application has performed some tasks over there. It's in the foreground only. Okay, but not able to receive user interactions. Okay, user interaction or user input. So that is the that inactive state, as we discussed in application lifecycle. So this method represent that states. Application will resign active, means it's moving towards inactive, from active to inactive. It's haven't moved yet, it's moving towards the inactive state. Okay, so that particular time this method gets here called here. So next is there are some application handle open. You can see here these all these methods they have a parameter. They come with parameters, uh, function parameter. That's application. So this is UI application type. So this is the your application. You here you have the details about your application. Some details like uh, everything, that's the instance of your application. So if you have to open any URLs or any function, so you simply can do application dot, you can do kind of things. So here this application is your application. So if you have to perform something, there are some specific tasks to perform. So you can ask if you have to open any URL outside of your application. So you simply pass URL here. So your application will react from this. Okay. So coming to next methods, it will resign active complete, right? Handle open URL, like when the application is opening any URL outside. So this person calls. Uh, this is we used to open the URL. These are all related to that function only. Then there is application did receive memory warning. So if your application has any memory leaks or any kind of things, so those warnings, OS regularly throws those warnings, and you receive those warnings here if application has any memory warning. Okay. The next one is application will terminate. So uh, let's say OS is about to terminate your application, or user is going to terminate your application, okay, by doing like this. So at that time, before this termination, this method gets called. Okay. So there are lots of methods. So these are the main methods we use to do any things or tasks. Okay. Simply here are only three methods. If you have to use some of the method from application delegate protocol, you just try to write application see did become active, will act. All those methods are coming here. Will enter foreground, did enter foreground. If you have to do some foreground tasks, so you can do over here. You can insert here in foreground. I want some tasks. Similarly, like similarly in background, if you have to do some tasks, so you can do here. You can save the user data over here before entering the background, because once it enter the background, you can't know when OS can terminate that application, right? So that was the app delegate. So this is the basic entry of your application. At this point, did finish launching with options. You have to configure your application so that it can present any view, any screen to your user. So you have to do that here. So that's called a root view controller. The first controller, the first screen user has to see. So you have to do all the initialization over here. So that was about application delegate. So next one is UIKit. So UIKit is the framework, which uh, Apple provides by default to us. So this framework is responsible for to design the user interface, the basic screen user sees. So it defines some core components, from iOS library for iOS application, that can be some buttons when user taps on buttons, or that can, if you have to display some text or some labels at that kind of things, and some views and navigation controllers also. Okay. So navigation controllers are responsible for navigating from one screen to another screen. So we will look about those in detail in next sessions. Okay. So uh, so all these labels, buttons, and all those the views we use them to display like the content we have to display to user on screen. Okay. And also they provide a way to interact with that. User can interact with them. Let's suppose, let's consider a case of button. So button is it's a separate UI button class. Okay. So that button, what do is that button provides you uh, uh, to to display some text, but for a button title. And when user click on that button, so it provides you the it provides you the it it says you like the user has been uh, tapped on this button, a particular button. Okay. So that's called interaction. Okay. So the UI kit is responsible for this that those things. It's a basic framework. Okay. Okay. So next one is view controllers. View controller is, a single root view, or you can say it's a single screen of your application, which itself, contain all these, views, buttons, labels, all those things. Some multiple or any number of sub views, we call them sub views. Okay. So it contains all the views and user controls, everything in that view controller only. Okay. Also, when user interacts with this button or anything, so basically user is interacting with your view controller, and view controller, passes that interaction or simply touch by user to that particular view, depending on, where it's been positioned. Okay. So so UI, from UIKit, design the user interface. Okay. So that user interface is managed by view controllers only. Okay. So we will look into Xcode what really a view controller is mean. So we have one default view controller here defined. Okay. You can see its name is view controller, and it derives from the UI controller class. So UI view controller class is the, view controller class. We have default one. Okay. So all view controllers we are creating are the should be the subclasses of this UI view controller class. So if you look into this description, it says that the UI controller class defines the shared behavior that is common to all view controllers. Okay. So means it's the parent class, and it provides a uh, behavior which can be shared all over across the all view controllers. Okay. So its main responsibilities include like updating the contents of the views. Okay. So whatever the views we have been taken, like button, labels, or image views. So updating the content of those. If it's a label, so updating the text in that label. If it's image view, so updating the image in that image view. Okay. At that kind, and responding to user interaction. So it first respond to user interaction, and then it passes that user interaction to relative sub view. Okay. Sub related view, depending on its position, like where the user has been interacted. All those things, resizing views and managing the layout. So layout means, positioning the views correctly. If you look into this application, so here this is the image view, then this is the label, and this is the label, this is the button. Okay. So these are positioned like, image view is on top, in between there are labels. So this label should be under this, beneath of this label, button should be at the end. So this is called the layout. So we have, different functions to manage this layout. So we will be looking at that later. Okay. So the layout means this. So resizing the views and managing the layout, coordinating with other objects, like other view controllers also. So coordinating with other view controllers, all those things are the responses of this UI view controller. Okay. So okay, first we will see the storyboard. What is the storyboard, and then come to this, and then we will look for view controllers and other parts also over there. So next one is storyboard and XIBs. So basically, storyboards and XIVs are used to design the interface, to create the interface, okay, for users. So these both things are used. First, there was no storyboard; it was introduced later. First, it was all about XIVs. Okay, so XIV means, if you take one XIV, so it has one .xib file and .zip file associated with that. Okay, so what .zip file is? It's the owner of that .xib file. So if you have to design one view, you will take one xib file for that view and design the view, and one zip file for that, you know which will the owner, which will manage the contents in this xib. Okay. So xibs are used, to create a single view only. Okay. But storyboards. Storyboards are the next step in XIB evolution. Okay, as the storyboards were introduced later. So here, what simply storyboard is, it contains many views. XIB is limited to one view, single view only, but storyboards contain many views. Sometimes generally what we do is we define all our views in one single storyboard file. Okay, or we can define multiple also. So and it contains views, not only views, but along with the information on how user will navigate from one view controller to another view controller. Okay, that's called the segues, all those things. So that's the storyboard. So let's come to here. So this is the storyboard. Okay, let me create on XIB first. We will see how XIBs are there. So what I am doing is I am going to file menu of Xcode. Okay, so new and then file. Okay, I have to create file. So here I have options as we have seen in previous one. Shift file. What I have to create is XIB. So XIB can be created like this. Okay, view by selecting. So give it a name of sample view, and you can select the targets here. So yesterday we have created additional target called driver. Okay, for this application, test application. If you want this particular file uh, to be available in test app only, so you check for test app and you uncheck the driver app. If you want to use in both, so you should check the both the targets. And you want only in driver, so you keep that for driver only. Okay, like this. So you can manage here that, and it's a location in your file system where it should be saved. Okay, so if you go to here, so it's called XIB. If you do like right click here, you can see while renaming it has the extension of .xib. Okay, so that's the xib file. So this is the view. You can see here only one view is there. Okay, so I'm hiding this. You can add the elements from your objects. These are the objects, label button or anything. There are many things. We will look one by one for them. If you want to add view controller and try to add here, so it's being added. So it's the view controller thing. Okay, likewise you can add the labels of this view here, or you can add the labels here. Okay, so this is the xib, but for this you have to create one Swift file to relate this with the coding. Okay, give it the same name like you have given for that sample view. Okay, so now you have to create an actual class for that. Class sample view. This will be UI controller subclass. Okay, and here you have to here is the this mark which says files owner. If you unhide it, so here you have to give that sample view name. Okay, so this become the sample view. Okay, now this sample view class is the owner of this xib file. Okay, so that's the xib. Then next, going to storyboard. So this is the storyboard. Okay, main dot storyboard, you can see. Okay, storyboard has extension of dot storyboard. Okay, so here This is view controller, as we said. So this is the one screen at a time. Let me explain, how it goes. So this is one view, right? Okay, this is the view. This is one view controller. If you click on anything, so next screen is coming up, right? This is the next screen. So this is another view. This is another view controller. Okay, like this is another view controller. This is another view controller. So that's the view controller, means it's the single screen. Okay, so which you can add here in any UI element like label, button, or all things. So what view controller does is it gives us space to add the sub views. We call if we add anything here, so that's called a sub view. So UI view controller comes with one default UI view. Okay, it needs a default UI view to show here the contents. Okay, and if we add anything, I am adding its label, so it's going under this UI view, right? So what happened is this become the sub view of this view. Okay, got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, so this is the sub view of this view. Okay, so likewise you can add here. So this also has a class. The view controller has a class which we create itself. So as Xcode created this default view controller in Storyboard, it also created a default one class for UI controller. So this UI view controller is the owner of this view controller. Okay, you can see here. Similarly, if you want to create another view controller, if you want to add another view controller, you simply go here and search here for view controller and place it here. So you can place it over here at anywhere. All your app screens can accommodate here. There is a unlimited space here. Okay, so now if I have to create a class for this, why we are creating classes are, if we have placed this label here, but what if we have to manage the text of this label? So where can we manage? Sorry, so we manage that through coding. Okay, so for that coding we need a Swift class. So that should be the owner of this particular view controller. Okay, for that reason we create that. Okay, so for this view controller I will create another view controller. Here I will select a Cocoa Touch class. Okay, so why Cocoa Touch class is we need a class which can be a subclass of UI controller. So all these things, UI view controller, UI view, all these classes, it resides in this Cocoa Touch uh, Cocoa Touch thing called thing. This is the framework kind of thing. Okay, so I need a class. I will give it a name. I will call it sample view controller. Okay, I'm giving a name like this. So I want this class as a subclass of UI controller, right? So in this field, I will type UI view controller. I need this class as a subclass of this one. Okay, got it? If if you create if you select this check mark, also create XIV file, what it will do is it will create it will create an XIV file over here. Okay, and relate this Swift file, new Swift file, with this with this XIV file. But we don't want that. We want we already have taken one view controller here in Storyboard. Okay, so I am not checking this here. It asks for language. So as we are going with Swift, so we are selecting Swift. And again it asks for target, for which targets it has to ask add, and the location where it should be saved. So this has been created, sample controller.swift file. Now what we have to do is, in Storyboard we have to tell here that your owner is this sample view controller. Okay. Okay. So to see if how this ownership works, how this class should be responsible for this. So in Xcode we have assistant editor. Okay, we call it as assistant editor. This is the main editor your, and if you want to open another file related to this particular thing, so you will be opening on assistant editor. Okay, so you click here, add editor on right. Sorry. Likewise, the multiple files have been going over there. Where is my view controller? Selected here. I'm selecting here. There is a menu, show editor only, preview, assistant. So there are basically preview editor, assistant editor, and layout editor. So we will be looking at preview editor later. We just need assistant editor over here. When you click on assistant editor, it's not refreshed here yet. I'm selecting this default view controller. It's not giving. Sometimes the Xcode, takes time. Critical time. Just close the Xcode, quit it, then again open it. Open the test cam. Okay. See now the assistant editor, it opened the view controller only. And if I select the sample view controller over here, okay, I select the sample view controller and it changed this file to sample view controller. So it opened the sample view controller, in the assistant editor. Now again I will select this view controller. So you can see the file has been changed. It's a view controller. Again, if sample view controller. Okay. So this is the assistant editor. Okay. So this is called the assistant editor. Okay. Now this is the view controller. You can see there is an arrow mark for this particular. We don't have for this. Okay. So why this is as I said, after launching in your app delegate, you have to initialize your first screen. What is the first screen to see user? So when you first time open the application, where it navigate to you is, first it will navigate to either login screen, okay, or some screen which guide you how to use the application. So we call it as onboarding screen, okay, onboarding screen or tutorial screen, okay. So in the development terms, so it first time if you are opening the application, it should take to your either login screen or that guide screen, okay, tutorial screen. And once you have login and you have closed the application, and again tomorrow or on another day you are opening that application, so at this particular point of time, where it should navigate you, it shouldn't be navigating you to login screen or that tutorial screen. It should navigate to you to the main screen, okay. Let's call it a home screen, okay. It will navigate that. So those things we need to configure over here, all those things means you have to give a root point, a root view controller, okay, uh, after launch. So this is the root view controller, go to this view controller, okay. So you can do that programmatically here, or if you don't have to configure these things like user has logged in or not logged out, in any situation, there will be the same screen, first screen the user should be seeing. So at that case, this arrow helps. So what this arrow means is, this is the initial screen, show this screen, okay. So if for example I will show you, I have taken a label here, okay, and there is a text label. When I run this application, run it on iPhone. So when I'm running this application, let's see what it will show. See, so the it's displaying this label means it's available here. So this view controller. Why it's displaying this? Because this arrow is here. This arrow is called. So no description for this. Okay. So this arrow is to uh, you know tell that this is the root view controller or this is the first view controller. What I am doing is I will remove this arrow from here and I will try to add it to our sample view controller. For that, you have to select that view controller. Then you have to come to attribute inspector over here. Here you can see there is a check mark for is initial view controller. Okay. If you are checking this up, that arrow has been come to here. You can see here, right? From here to here. Again, if I want to make this as the initial view controller, I would select here. The arrow will come here. So I'm selecting the secondary view controller as my initial view controller to show the how that arrow works. Again, I'm adding a label, but for label I will change the text. I will say sample. So when I will run this, so now it should not display this label. It should display the sample. See, it's displaying that sample means it has become the initial view controller. It has become the root view controller. Okay. So from storyboard, you can also manage this thing also, marking as any view controller as the root view controller, like that. Okay. So there is our storyboard. There are a lot of things in storyboard. We can going one by one when we will visit every this component label or anything. So in coming up sessions, we will be learning a lot about storyboard. Okay.
Yes, sir. Is we use story mode to achieve multi views
Yeah,
and manage
for
it.
multi-views. XIB is limited for single view only.
Okay.
Actually, XIB was the first thing to develop a UI. Later, uh, storyboard was introduced for managing all these things. There are other things also. If uh, if the user is at this particular screen and there is a button here in this screen, if user clicks this screen, and user have to navigate to next screen. Okay, after clicking out this button, so you have to navigate to this screen. Likewise, if I consider this files app, so on click of this on my phone, so it's navigating to next screen. So this navigation you can do programmatically, or storyboard gives you the ability to do that. What you have to do is click command in keyboard. Okay, and click here button, and with other finger, sorry, control click and move the mouse cursor with another button. It's giving this linkage. Okay, if you drop here, so it has a menu like action segu. So it says show detail, present morally, present as proper custom. So we will come across this later sessions, but let me clarify what this is. This is called the segu. If I'm clicking show, so you can see here one link has been created over here from this view controller to this view controller. So you can get this view controller, this controller is created from button to here. So this is called a segu. So what it will do is, if user will click on this button, it will show this screen. Okay, Let me add again. This time I will select the present model. Okay, and let me make this as the initial view controller, so that this view controller should display first. Later, on click of this button, this view controller should be visible. Let's see. I can run the code. See, this view controller has come on top of that. Okay, you can see, you can dismiss this, like, before, I think this was introduced in iOS 9, this dismiss thing, iOS 9 or iOS 10. So before that, if you click here and swipe down, it's currently dismissing. So before it was not possible. You have to give here any button to dismiss this. Okay, you have to do that programmatically. Okay, but now we can simply drag and drop here. I think in iOS store it was introduced. Sorry. See again, if I click button, that got the new view controller has been presented on our
Mhm.
US view controller. Okay,
Sir, what we call it?
we are presenting a view controller, another view controller on tap of this button.
No, you say something specific word to it, paging like that.
This linkage,
This linkage.
it's called Segu.
Segu. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
SCGU secure. So this is the another feature of Storyboard, which highlights it over the XIB. XIB you can't specify this secure all kind of things. So Storyboard is one-stop solution for all your user interface related things. You can add multiple UI controllers. You can design view inside that view controllers. You can create segues for transition from one view controller to another view controller. So all these things. Okay.
Okay.
So this was about Storyboard and XIB's view controllers. Okay, all those things. So next one is view and window. Okay. So view and window. So we use windows or views and views to present your application's content on the screen. Means whatever we have designed in UIView controllers view. So we present that on screen using this view and window. So under the hood, whatever you are looking into here, so under the hood is a window, a UI window, which is not visible to us, but it accommodates this view controller and view controller's view, all those this that accommodates it on top of itself, UI window. So UI window provides you the position. If this label I have positioned here, so what UI window is doing is it's giving this label a position to place itself on top of that particular window. So and mobile application should have minimum one window, then only you can see you can see the content of the screen. So when you do like this, so this what you are seeing here is this is the window of this particular application. For this application it has its own window, for this application it has this own window. Okay. And for iPads there is a multitasking kind of concept. So here we are only able to open one app only. Okay, at a one time we can see one app only, but for iPad you can see multiple apps. Multitasking, that's called multitasking. Like if you rotate this into landscape mode. So for rotating this simulator to landscape and all the things, what you do is in simulator menu, you go to device. Here there are rotate left, rotate right kind of thing. So you can rotate. So for iPad, what
And
happens, you know,
and sir, code will be remain same, or we have to rewrite the code for land space?
mostly, you know, code will be same. What you have to manage is, you know, the contents, the view, how the view should be, you know, visible. So for portrait, you have less width and, you know, you have more height. But in landscape mode, you have less height and width. So the visibility of all the views, subviews, let's say labels or buttons, everything. So you have to manage that through code. Okay, remaining code will be, you know, same.
Okay.
Okay, so for iPad, you know, while multitasking, it takes from here to here. There will be one application. From here to here, that will be another application. Okay, so generally this kind of thing happens over there. So iPad, for that, you know, there will be multiple windows, but in iPhone, you know, you have only one window only. You can either show this window or this window or this window at a time. If you select on it, this will be displayed. Okay, other apps will be removed. So that's called the window. Okay, see, windows do not have any visible content themselves. So the windows are not visible, they only manage the things, you know. They provide a position, or you say container, for your application view. Okay, so and what we used to do is we use define a portion of a window that you want to fill with some content. So on top of UI window, there are views, you know, which gives you the ability. Those views are visible, and, you know, they provide you provision to, you know, add more sub views, you know, to fill that view with your content. Okay, so window is the instance of UI window. UI window is the super class of window. You know, if you are creating a window programmatically, so you'll be creating using this UI window class. Okay, and then every application should have, as I said, at least one window which displays the contents and allow user to interact with it. Okay, so coming to view, view is, you know, is it's the rectangle area, you know, which gives a provision you to, you know, uh, to display some content to user and to add any objects over there. So that rectangle, it defines a rectangle. Okay, let's see over here. So for this view controller, there is a view. Okay, if you closely look here, it shows you, you know, a rectangle. Okay, so this is this views area. What this view is responsible for, you know, you can add multiple objects, multiple, you know, sub views, let's say buttons or labels or anything, which is, you know, your content. Okay, so you can add that content in this rectangle, and this view will accommodate them inside it, and, you know, manage them, like to you know, so to hide something or to show something or to position something. Okay, some button, uh, all those things, you know, accommodated by this view. So this is the view. Okay, but when you are adding this label here or button here, you know, these are also the subclasses of UI view only. These are also providing you a rectangle. See, it's giving a managing to give the, you know, manage the size and all those things. So these are also, you know, child objects of UI view only. You can add a view only, you know, view means a rectangular only. Say UI view, you can add another view as a subclass, you know, subview of this view. Okay, and, you know, what you can do is you can move this to this view. See, those are going inside that view. Here you can see this is the main view, this is the other view we have taken, and we are able to add the, you know, all subviews to this view. So what are the view's responsibilities are? It provides you a rectangle where you can add your content and manage them. Okay, that's called the view. To be more clear, let me change the color. So here, if you can see, if you are considering a view, so that has a separate menu here. There is a content mode. Like content mode means the inside content, means this button and label, how it should show. So we here, the default is scale to fill, means scale these views to fill yourself. Okay, that kind of things. There are other things also, accept fit, accept fill, which will come across later. It gives you, provides tag, so you can provide a unique tag for each view. You can provide a tag, say, let's say one for this, okay, view, and later for this view you can provide a different tag, let's say two. Just make sure, like, to provide a different unique tags for that. Okay, then next one is alpha. Alpha means the opacity of that view. Okay, that color, background color, that can be seen by here. Next one is the background, means the background color. So I am selecting a background color, red color. Okay, here, so the whole rectangle become red. See, and for this view also, if I change to this to something brown color, so that become brown. See, okay, this become this, I given a red. And if I change, if I decrease this alpha, the transparency of that red color changes. See, it's becoming more and more transparent. Okay, so to understand transparency, let me make it white color only, default color only. Now you can see, if I decrease this, it's becoming more and more transparency. Okay, so alpha is about transparency. If you want transparency, you have to do this. Okay, all those things. If you have to hide this view, you can do that from Storyboard also. If you click it, so it will hide, and it will not hide itself, but all the subviews, it has been positioned under this view, so it will hide that also. If I this is the initial view controller. If I run now, see, it will won't display this red view here, and that button and that label also will not be displayed here. See, okay. Oh, sorry. Now what I will do is, I will uncheck this hidden, so that's not hidden here. So now it will display you that view and button and label. Okay, so this is the view. View means a rectangle. A rectangle itself is a rectangle which allows you to add the subviews and show the your content to the user. Okay, so we can have any number of views inside a view to create a hierarchical structure of UI views. Okay, so what exactly we have done? So we can have any number of views. We have this view, inside that this is view. What inside that, this is a button and label. These are also subclasses of UI view, but it has its own properties. If you go to label, it has the text style. How what style of text you have to display, plain or attributed. Attributed means some part of text, if you want some part of text as bold or italic or some different color, so that's called the attributed text. So currently it's plain, so it's displaying only plain text only. Okay, if you select attribute, so you have to manage here. If you select this, and this is the fonts, this is the all available fonts. There are many fonts. Typeface, clicking Arial, and I'm selecting bold. Okay, here and I'm giving a text size of uh, 36. See, only that EL part, what text I have selected here, and change the attributes for that, those have been reflected here. you can see it become bold and the size had become large. So that's called the attributed text. Okay, so storyboard also provides you this ability, and if you select the plain text, so it will be the plain text only. You can write here what text you have to show. So currently it's label, so it's displaying label only. Again, color, so what color of that text should be. You select white, so it will text will be displayed in white color. Okay, then font. So this is the which font you want. So you want some custom fonts. If you have to add some custom fonts, so you can add here, or you can select system. There are options: system italic. Okay, these are all the text styles provided by Xcode by default. So large style, title 2, title 3, you know depending on this, it changes. If I select custom, so then you have to select the family of font. Which font? So default one is default new. Default one is the Helvetica new font. Okay, by default for iOS. If you select something interesting font. Okay, if I am selecting this papyrus, the text style has been changed. Okay, next is style, your regular or condensed. So for some fonts, there's this style condensed, or some fonts have the style of uh, bold or light or regular. Okay, select bold. Then it's the size of that particular font, what size you want. Okay, this thing here, font. Then alignment, so how the text should be aligned in the label, at left aligned or center aligned or right aligned. If you check this automatically adjust font, so it will adjust the font size to fit in this label. Okay, this particular label. For smaller screens, this size will get decreased. So at that particular point, it will automatically adjust that font size if you set the dynamic font. Then there is lines. If you put a one line, so it will accommodate only one line only. If you select two lines, so it will show maximum two lines. Okay, let's see that behavior here. So currently it's just that I will just copy this label and paste over here. Okay, see, it became two lines. Okay, if we decrease to one, it only display one line, and there is more text, so there is no place to show that. So it will show as a dot. Okay, if you increase to two lines, it will show two lines. Again, if you add, so there is no, because you are specified two lines only, it again shows the dots. We will click on it, three lines, and increase the size of this, so it will show three lines. Okay, and if you want, you don't know how many lines will be there, it should be a multi-line. So at that case, keep it as 0. So it will take as many lines as it accommodate over that place. Okay, got it?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. There are other things also, line break and all those things. And then you see the view properties are there, because as I said, this UI label, this UI button, all these things are are the subviews of UI view only. So here there is, see, some view properties. Here content mode is left, because what is the content in this particular view, means label, is the text. So we selected here left align text or right align. So there is a left, you can see here also. If you want to center align, or if you want to align top, so top align, it will move to top later, when you run that. So tag, as it is tag. So why these tags are used, to distinguish them, with the tag. So programmatically, if you have to do that. User interaction enabled. If so, for label there will be no user interaction, by default. But still you can, you can detect the touches on this label, if user is touching this label or not. So that comes programmatically. Okay, how to direct touches. So for that, if user will user should interact with this user touches this view, particular view should receive user touches or not, that's been decided from here. If you check here, that means user interaction is enabled. If you look into button, there's it's by default selected because button needs user interaction, right? Okay, so that can again this alpha background color, all those things, hidden, unhidden, for these are all the view properties. Okay. Okay, so those are the views, um, and all these things where the UI controller or UI view or this UI label, UI button, all these things reside in this UI kit framework. Okay, as we have seen in the previously. So that's about the view and Windows. Okay, uh, yeah. If you want break, you can take a break for 5 minutes.
Okay, sir.
So let's continue the session. So we have seen this views and windows. Later, we will be looking into this some of the basic views and controls what we have. Okay. So views and controls, are the visual building blocks of your app's UI. Okay, user interface. So whatever we see, on the screen. Uh, let's say this consider the screen. So here you can see this. Here is a title. This is the label. It's called the label. So label is one of the view. Is cancel buttons. So buttons are the subclasses of views, but buttons have the the properties of UI controls also. So UI control gives them some extra properties as we have seen for buttons initially. That kind of things. So again, this is the label. See, this is the switch which we generally call toggle also. So this is the picker. This is the segment control. So all this, the basic views and controls. Okay. So for all this, UI view is the root class for all the views. Okay, as said, and defines their common behavior. So we have seen in the storyboard, under UI view. So there were some common properties for all this, for label and button. So that's the root class UI view. And UI control, what it does is it gives the additional behavior that are specific to the buttons and switches. So basically button, switch, slide, there are some sliders also, and the segment control, these have the additional behavior which they derive from UI control. And label, image view, this kind of things, they don't have that control behavior. Okay, so that's the view and controls. So we'll be looking in this session for this basic views and controls. Okay, for advanced views and controls, we will be have separate session. Okay, so in this session, we will be first looking into UI button, then UI label, then UI text field and UI text view. So as the name says, UI text, these are responsible for taking the user input. If user is typing something, so he will be typing in this UI text field or UI text view. Okay, let's consider a scenario of login screen. There you have two text fields. Okay, one is for email and one another is for password. So that's the text field. And what's the difference between text field and text view views? Is text field is the single line one, and text view accommodates multiple lines. So you can type in multiple lines in text view. For example, if you go to the comment section of any Facebook or Instagram, or either the the chat typing screen of WhatsApp. So that's the UI text view. It accommodates you multiple lines of text. So UI label is responsible for just displaying the text only. Okay, just displaying the text only, any titles or anything. That text is not editable. Okay, so UI button, it is for action. Okay, for tapping on that button, so it performs some action. Okay, and coming to UI image view, so UI image views are used to display any images on the screen. If you have to display any image, let's say in Facebook post, uh, in Facebook or any place, so your profile image has been displayed, so that displayed in the UI image view. So let's go one by one in detail. Okay, in Xcode. So as we have seen here, so let's go to button. Let's position it separately here from label. Okay, so this is the button. So first we will see the properties. So type. So default one is the system. So this is the system button. Okay, if you want to make it custom, some custom behavior, so you will select custom. Otherwise, make it system. There is an option of detail disclosure. Detail disclosure means this icon will become here, means generally if this icon is there. Okay, what it one sees, it says that click here, there is additional detail, means it's disclosing the details, so that's why it's called the detail disclosure. So info light, some info button, again comes the eye only, info dark, add contact, so this becomes the plus add symbol. Okay, close, if you select close, so it will show you this close button icon. Okay, these are some default types of button. So if I select system, let me increase its size. Okay, so title, so again title plain and attribute, what is the attributed title or text. Okay, so I am giving it's a button title, I say go. Okay, so that title is here. So if you select font, you can add here fonts also, any kind of font. As we said, I'm selecting bold, it's not applying, means why? You have selected the system type, so it will assign font and font style, font size according to system, means OS. If you select custom, and if you select here any kind of thing, oh, still not applying. Okay, we can okay, style. Yeah, the style was set to plain, that's why this is not happening. So if you make default, so font changes are being doing there. If I select bold, so it will be bold. Okay, then a text color. So here a text color is by default white color is selected. You can select any color here, anything black. If you select tint color, so default tint color will be it's a bluish kind of thing. Okay, select red, so red will not be displayed over red, right? Select system blue color, this kind of things, you can select the colors. Shadow color, if you want to apply the shadow, you can apply programmatically also, and you have to specify the color for that shadow. So you can select here, so that shadow will be displayed on the view itself. If you want to add image, if you have to show image any, so what you will do is you will add images here in assets. Okay, some image, let's say info, and if in case you have added here icon any images over here, so you will be able to see that image here. If you type info, it's giving the system info. So there is no image, and that the name was renamed just now, so it haven't been refreshed. These are the system icons. System provides you some icons. You see, these are all the icon system has provided to you. Okay, so one advantage of this system icon, using system icons, they adopt to according to the mode. Dark mode is enabled or not. Okay, so that color will be changed according to that. I'm selecting this. So I have given the title over there, and again image, so both have been displayed here. Okay, if I remove title, so only image will be displayed. If I again give title, so again title and image will be displayed. Okay, so this has been given in the uh, blue color, because here in the view property the tint color has been selected, default one means blue. If the dark mode has been applied, this will automatically get changed if you selecting default. And if you are not selecting default and any other, so that will be changed to that color. Okay, that's called the tint color. So yeah, you can add a background image also for that. All those things, configuration scale, these are all other properties. Okay, control. So these are the control properties. Okay, UI control as said, additional properties. So here it has given the alignment, horizontal and vertical alignment. Currently both have been selected in center. Okay, if I select left, so content will be aligned to left side. So select centered, content will be aligned center. If I select right, so content will be right at right side. Trailing means also ending part. Okay, same. This was horizontal scale, and in vertical scale, if you have to change the things, you have to align it vertically, so it will goes vertical. In center, you have to align downwards, so it will go downwards. Okay, that's the alignment we show. uh, this is a primary action check mark is there. Then a state, which states you have to show. So if enabled is not checked, it has been displayed as a some disabled type. Okay, so this button is not enabled. If run this, you can see the actual thing. I haven't checked here. Enabled means that button is not enabled, it's disabled. So it's displayed as see, it's displayed as a disable. When I am clicking, nothing is happening, means when you click, animation happen here, click animation. That's not happening because that's haven't been enabled. If you click here, then it's enabled. If you click highlighted, so when you click the button and your click is still there, you are not releasing the click, that's in the highlighted state. So it will display as in highlighted if you check this. So now I have enabled over there. So let's see how. See there is an animation, and we have added a segue on the tap of button, right, previously. So that's happening when this was not enabled, so these all things were not happening. Okay, nothing. And these are all the view this. So if you want to manage this button programmatically, again, you will open the assistant editor here. Okay, it will open the uh, respective view controller. So this was a view controller, so it is view controller. We called it as an outlet, to give an outlet for element. If you click control and your cursor click, okay, both at the time, and drag that here, you see it says insert action outlet or outlet collection. So if I release clicks, here an option like what you want, outlet action or outlet collection. So outlet means the reference. We can consider outlet as a reference for that that button in storyboard. That button is in storyboard, right? In that view controller, but you want that reference for that button over here. So you in this class to do programmatically, some changes to that button. So you give the outlet. Okay, so for that outlet you have to give name. I will say some button. Okay, outlet should start with uh, lowercase letters. Okay, it is giving a type, so type is UI button. Storage, it's regarding memory reference. You want weak reference or strong reference? Strongly recommendation is to use the weak references only. Okay, and if you click on connect, so it will connect this button over here. See, here is this mark. This is do you remind of anything by looking this thing?
Means it is inherited from UI button name where
Yeah,
it
so
is.
what is this? This is the property, right?
Uh,
We have seen yesterday property declaration where
Means it should be static, not changing like that.
it's outlets are properties only. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but those are
Mm-hmm.
connected to the view, to storyboard. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's what this IB outlet thing is there. Weak means this is the weak property. Okay, the weak and strong we will look into that later. It's some memory management concepts. Okay, so it will assign a weak memory reference to it, like.
Sir, means firstly in iOS we design any UI button and then directly drag into view control and
control
write logic.
control click and drag. We control click and drag to
Uh-huh.
the class file. This is the class file, right?
Yes, yes.
So it will gives you two options. One is outlet and other one is uh, action. Okay, let me
Yes,
again
yes,
do
yes.
control click drag. Now I will drag here. So already, as we have given outlet, so it by default give an option of give the option of action. So action means on tap of that button, if you want to perform anything, so you have to do that programmatically. So you will do in this action. So if you give some name, some action, what it will create is it will this time create a function, action function. Okay, so type you can select here any or UI button, and these are the events. So these are the UI control events. So for button it is touch up inside means if you are clicking on a button, see what's happening. It's going, you are touching inside. Okay, that for button that control is touch up inside. So did end on exit, editing change, editing did become. These are all related to different components. Okay. So for button it should touch up inside. Okay. Argument. This is for function argument. So if you don't want any argument, you can select none. If you want the senders, sender means here who are sending this event. So obviously button is sending this event, right? And I have selected the type here button. Okay, so when I click on connect, so see it has created a function. Okay, this is function declaration, right? Hello, did you
Uh,
got it?
yes, yes, I got it.
Yeah, so it created a function, action function. See sender here, sender hit send the UI button because sender, the action sender is UI button. Okay, so let's close this. Let's go to our view controller class. So we can see the outlet has been created here as a property. The action has been created here as a function. So these things, these circles defines that these are connected from user interface, storyboard, from storyboard. Okay.
Okay.
So if you have to do any kind of changes, like I have to change the title of that button. So I will create some button, okay? And if you go into this UI button class definition, you can see all the properties and functions this class has. So you can say you can init a button. Currently we have been taken from storyboard, so we will be not initializing this. If you are creating a button programmatically, so then you have to use any of the this init functions.
Hmm.
Okay, these are the initializers. Again, there are some functions which return self means this button class itself. So you can initialize through this function also. Okay, system button, it specifically creates a system configured button, system button, not a custom one. If you have to create a custom ones, you have to use this tool. uh, then there are some functions like set needs update configuration. Update configuration, these are things to manage the configuration of button. Okay. Then there are properties, some properties, tint color, button type. These if you remember, these are all things we have been um looked in storyboard. We have witnessed these all things in storyboard. Button type, tint color, right? Something this is odd. It means is held, role, all this kind of, these are all the properties of that class, UI button class. Menu. Then there are functions, set title. If you have to set the title, you have to use this function, set title. For state, UI control state. So default one is nil, so set, you have to set the one color for title color. Set title. If you have to set the image, these things we have done in storyboard, but you can do programmatically also, right? Okay. Title color, set title, image, these are all the getters, properties, all those things, title, label, image, view, right? So if you have to change the background color here or anything, so you can do from here. You have to manage that. But we have done all those things in in storyboard itself. So what will I do is I will remove this title. I will let change this color to default one. And instead of here, I will do that here in this class. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to set the title first, right? So we have seen that there is a set title function. Okay. So set title. So here this function parameter, there are two parameters. One is title, which is of type string, right? And there is another parameter for, which asks UI controller state type. So you can see here UI control dot state, right? We will be going that, I will explain that what is, why it's UI control dot state type. Okay. I am again giving here go title. So UI control dot state. If you click dot, it will give you some suggestions. I select normal state. If you go to this normal command click, you can see here these are all the variables inside this struct called state. Okay. Again, uh, where this struct has been used is, so this struct is it's in the UI control thing. It's not showing here. If you go back, if you, this UI control contains this struct state. Okay, this UI control class contain this struct called state, and inside that struct state there is an option. uh, See state.
And sir, what is the meaning of that open, sir?
What?
Openware. Openware.
Yeah, open is
Means
the access specifier. Okay.
okay.
We have seen yesterday private, like that
Yes,
kind of.
private.
So when we are discussing access specifier, we will be looking into this open. Okay.
Okay.
UI control dot state. That's why it asked us the value of UI controller state here. Okay, set title. Again, we didn't give the proper color in storyboard, right? So we will give the text color, title color, set title color. So it's asked UI color. So colors are the UI color is the a class for all the colors. Okay. So I will give here a white color. Again for state. So we'll be selecting a normal state. So let's run. We change the these things in storyboard. Again, we are doing that this thing. So this is showing image only as we have signed the story. We have to set the controls here, like where we should be display the text and image. So let me remove this image from here. So I have removed image and both title also. So here is nothing. Now if I run, so it should show the title as I have set this title programmatically, right? So already as we have given the segue from this button here, so action is happening. I am deleting this. What I want is on click of this button, I want to hide this label. Okay. So to perform that action, we need this labels outlet also in program. Okay. So we will be providing this labels outlet also. It says some label. Okay. So the outlet is created for that. If I go to again this view controller, this is the action function for that button, right? Here what I will do is on tap of that button, that label should hide, right? So what will I do is I will just simply say some label dot. We have seen like the label is derived from UIView class only, and UIView has one attribute of is hidden, right, in the storyboard. So we will use that only, is hidden.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
You are not audible, sir.
Hello. Yeah, I am audible. Hello.
Hello. You are audible. Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are also audible.
Okay.
There is
So
some connection.
I am hiding that. So this is the action function that for that label. That button. In that click of that button, I am simply hiding this label. Okay. Let's see if that happens or not. Remember, we have removed the segue from storyboard, so it will not move to the next view controller, right? Instead, this will hide. This should hide this label on tap. Okay. So I am tapping on that. See, on tap the label has been dismissed. But again, when I tap on it, so again I want to display that label. So what will I do? For that, I will simply create a property, a variable where is label hidden. Okay. And this will be boolean one. Okay. Initially the label is not hidden. Okay. So I am giving it an initial value of false. Okay. So before hiding this label, every time the button has been clicked, I will check for this flag is label hidden. So if is label hidden, which is a bool, equal to false, means if that flag is label hidden is false, what I will do is I will hide the label. and I will change the value of is label hidden to true, because I'm hiding that label here. Okay, so this should be true, right? Label is hidden. And in else part, what I will do is, else means is label hidden equal to true, means after hiding the label, if again that button has been presented, that will the control will come here. Means what you have to do is, we have to um, unhide the label. Okay, it's currently hidden, so some label dot is hidden equal to false. If we do like this, so hidden label will be again displayed to user. Okay, and again now we have to change the value of is label hidden, because next time again it's clicked, so label is not hidden, so we have to hide it, so it should go inside this, right? If I run this, see, once I clicked that, so label has been hidden. Okay, so again clicks, the label has been displayed. Again click, it's hidden. Again clicks, this kind of thing. So basically here, we have given the action, connection here, and we are performing the action on top of that button, right? So this is the action, and this is the outlet. So we are directly accessing that button and that label through programming. Okay, using this outlet. Okay, so did you got it?
Yes, sir. Means I have to try that. I got the concept.
Okay, so the next one is UI button, UI label. Okay, the next one is UI text field and UI text view. Okay, so let's add one UI text field. Okay, we will do one thing. We will remove the action of this buttons. Simply, I will comment out this code, so that I want to perform only one action at a time. I want again, this button on top of it should, present this view controller. Okay. Present as okay. Here we will take a text view and text field and uh, text field. Okay. I'm placing it here, like this. Okay, so when looking into text field properties, some in storyboard, again there's a text. You want plain text or attributed text. So what should be the color of text? I'm selecting a red. Okay, what should be the font size? So I'm keeping it as system font 14 size. Again, do you want it to automatically adjust the fonts according to size and text size? And the what should be the alignment, text alignment, placeholder. So what this placeholder is, we will look after in the simulator what is the placeholder. I'm entering enter something. Okay, so see, it's showing as enter something here, that placeholder, right? I have selected here center alignment, so it's going center. If I say so, this is not the text. Okay, the text will be here. This is the placeholder, means it's a hint. In login screen, we generally what look in other apps, right? uh, at email field, how we know, like we have to add email here or we have to add password here, like they give us a hint like this, enter email, and for password field they say enter password. So once let me run this. Once we tap on this text field, what happens is the placeholder gets removed. Okay, and keyboard will be displayed. See, keyboard comes up, that is there. If we start typing, the typing text will be there, and that placeholder has been removed. Okay, so placeholder is nothing. It's hint about that field, like what this field is about. Okay, so that's called a placeholder. As we have selected a red color here, so red color text has been appeared, right? Then again, if you want to give the background image for the text field, you can select here. This is the border style. Okay, so the first one is none. If you select this, there will be no border. See, there is no border. Okay, let change the color. You should see, like, see, now it's visible. Okay, when I change, uh, no border case. If you select line border, so there's a line. If you can see, there's a this black border there. Okay, that's a line border. You can change that border color also later. Okay, and if you select bezel, bezel means there comes this bezel kind of thing. Two lines will be displayed for border. Okay, and if you select the last one, this is the round, so the border will be look like this rounded corners. See, corners are not sharp. Okay, so letter clear button. Clear button means once you start typing, here no button has been displayed because we have select the clear button never appears. If you select appears while editing, appears unless editing, is always visible. Okay, these three things. If you select is always visible, it will be visible always. Use that clear button. Let's see how always visible works. Okay, and how clear buttons is. I have run the code. I'm not able to zoom this actually. There's a clear button as well. See, this is the clear button, right? Clear button come. If you are clearing, it's again dismissing. Okay, and if you select appears unless editing, during editing it will not be visible, but while other time it will be visible. See, on typing it's not visible, right? If I dismiss the keyboard, so keyboard is not displayed like here. Okay, we have to do extra programming to dismiss the keyboard, on click of this return or on any touches outside that. Okay, and if you select the appears while editing, so it will only appear during editing only, means during keyboard is there and you are editing that field, that time the clear button is displayed. Okay, then this is content type, like how content should be displayed. Capitalization. Okay, so how you want the text type, it should be capitalized. So currently it's none, so it will never capitalize any words. Okay, if you select words, and run this, every word, every word's first letter will be capitalized. See, if I am typing hi, so H is capitalized, right? And I is again lowercase letter. Hi, my, M is capitalized, name. So every word has been capitalized. The first letter of every word is in capitalized. If you select sentence, so every first letter of sentence will be capitalized. If you select all characters, every character will be capitalized here. See how all characters will look. Let's see. See, every character is capitalized, right?
Okay, means we don't need to on that caps lock or num lock, means for automatically it get capitalize.
Yeah, caps lock is for your development
Uh,
work also. On real device there's also a caps lock button, but
uh,
you don't need that. Okay, I
okay.
clicked on here clear button, so everything was clear, right?
Okay.
So that's the use of clear button. So I'm selecting none. Then correction. So correction means, if you select correction, yes, so it will correct the spells. If you have unspelled, you have mistakes in spelling, so it will correct the spellings itself while typing. Okay, let's see that also. I have selected the corrections, yes. So I wrote, I written the let's, okay, but let's actually should be written over like this. I written like this. See, it corrected that, huh?
Yes.
Let's go. If I, you know, uh, mm, so I spelled wrong ahead. Okay, if I click on space, so it has correction. It has done the correction, right? So that's this correction. If you don't want correction, you should select no. The smart dashes, leading to dashes, smart insert. These two features are the smart quotes. It highlights the these quotes also. Spell checking. If you want to check the spell, while typing here, it was. See, that blue banner is coming there, right? Means it's checking the spells. If you don't want that spell checking, you should select no. Keyboard type. What type of keyboard you want? So here keyboard type is default. Means this is the default keyboard type. Just it's giving you the alphabets. Then here the provision for numbers. Okay. If you select the keyboard type, number and punctuation. Okay, see which keyboard it should display. It's giving the number keyboard, number and this punctuation marks keyword, right? And if you select, number pad, again same keyboard should come, I guess. Number pad or phone pad. See, it came the number pad to enter the numbers only. Okay, if you select, email address, see here it has given that at the rate and dot, so that user can easily enter the email address here. Okay, then it's the return key is the this key, this return. What type of key you want? Default it's a return. If you select go, this return will become go. Okay, if you select, Google, let's see what happens on Google. See, it said search, means search on Google. Okay, like that, join, next, root, all those things. If you click and done, so it will show a return button as done. Okay, that's the UI text field. uh, Now, if you want to know the how user is typing, or if user has clicked on this button, return button, all those things. So there is a UI text field delegate. We have to implement that. So to implement that, we can assign delegate from here. See, here it says delegate. If you click on this, uh, this text field delegate will be assigned to this controller. View controller means sample view controller. You can do like this, okay, or you can do programmatically also. Let us do programmatically. Open the assistant editor here, then give an outlet for this text field, sample text field. Okay. Let's go to sample view controller where we are given the outlet. Okay, so if you have to give the delegate or anything, if you have to modify this text field, so in storyboard the text fields text was left oriented, right? Here we have alignment made a left center. So if you want to left, I will do that programmatically. Okay, here see how we can do. Sample text field dot, okay, uh, text alignment. If you have to set the text, any default text, you can set here by text. If you have to change the text color, you can do using this property. If you have to change the alignment, you can do using this property. All these are the properties of text field. Okay, text alignment equal to, if you click dot, that will show the available options. Okay, so currently it's set the center over there, right? I will select the left. If I run over here, now it should be left aligned. See, it's left aligned. Okay. Now what I have to do is, when there is a keyboard, now when click on this done button, right? I want this keyboard to be dismissed. Okay. So for that we have to use text field delegate. So we have to assign this class as the delegate of this text field. Text field dot delegate. See, delegate is also property. Okay. I will say self means self here. Self means this class. Okay. Sample view controller. It's throwing an error. It says cannot assign value of type sample view controller to type UI text field delegate. This delegate is of type of UI text field delegate, and we are assigning self, which is UIV controller, sample view controller, to that. So it's not accepting. For that, what you have to do is, we have to extend this class to use this UI text field delegate. Okay, we can do this by mentioning comma UI text field delegate. What this implementation means is, the sample view controller is the subclass of UI view controller. Okay, also text field delegate. Also, it implements this UI text field delegate, means it conforms to this delegate also. This is actually a protocol. Okay, we will see what are the protocols in next sessions. This is a protocol. That means this sample view controller is a subclass of UI controller, and this implements this UI text field delegate protocol. Okay, now if we go to this UI text field delegate, there are some functions defined over here. Okay, so once you confirm your class to this delegate, then you can able to access all these functions in that protocol. Otherwise you can't access them. So what are the text field delegate functions? Text field should begin editing, means just user has tapped over there. Sorry, text field should begin editing. It returns bool. Okay, when you are implementing this function, you have to return a bool value, a true or false. If you return true, then this text field will be able to edit. If you return false, then it will not be able to edit. Okay, default one is true. That's why without doing anything, this text field is editable. So what we will do is we will we'll use this function. Text field should begin editing, right? Now as we have confirmed our class to this protocol, so we can use this functions. Okay, if you tile text field, it will list down all the function that was should begin editing, right? So it asks to return a bool. Okay, so what I am returning is I am returning false. Let's see now we are able to edit or not. See, nothing is happening. We are not able to edit it because we have written false here. Text field should begin editing. For that function, we have written false. Okay, if we return true, then we will be able to edit. So default value is true. That's why when we haven't implemented this function, so that was able to edit. See, now it was able to edit. Okay, again, uh, what are the other functions in that delegate? Text field did begin editing. So this informs you that text field has begin editing. Okay, this is to control the editing. This is doesn't return anything, means it's informing you that text field has begin editing. So this is text field should end editing. If you want text field to be end editing, means you want to dismiss the keyboard on each that thing. So at that time, if you want text field should be end editing, so you will return true here. If you don't want to end editing, then you will return false here. Okay, should end editing. This again return, here is a return type function. Then text field did end editing. So when text field has been end the editing, then this function will notify you that text field has been ended the editing thing. Okay, text field did end editing. These are same, but this has one separate one extra parameter called reason. So it will tell reason why text field has been end the editing. If you go this, there is only this is the enum, and there is only one case committed. Maybe iOS has some plans to introduce more cases here. That's why so it will give the reason why that has been editing has been stopped. Next, text field should change characters in range. Okay, this function gets called every character change, means if you have typed one letter here, one kind, so that function will be gets called like anything, any editing happens, if you remove any character or if you type any character, so every this event will be this function will get notified, like change the characters. If you want to again this is if you want user to change the characters or not, if you want, then you will return true. If you don't want user to change any character inside the text field, you will return false here. Okay, at the same time, this function gets called every editing attempt. Okay, text field did change selection. Selection means if you are typing here and you are selecting like this text over here, this called selection. Okay, so text field did change selection. If you want user to select the text, uh, and user has selected the text, then this function will get called like what is the selection. Should clear means after clearing this, if you want to clear, text field should return. Okay, this function text field should return will get called when this return button clicked. So what we want is when this return button is clicked, we want to dismiss this keyboard, and we want text field text field should end the editing. Okay, so for that we have to use this function. So let's use that. Text field should return Here also we have to provide a bool value, like do you really want that text field should return or not, and there only we will do the keyboard dismissal signals. Text field should return. Firstly I will return true because I want text field should be returned. Okay, now when that return key is tapped, so then this function is getting called. So I want to dismiss the keyboard. For that, what you will do is sample text field dot end editing. There's a function called end editing. Force, it's a force, so true. You can do like this. Okay, to to end the editing of that particular text field, so that keyboard goes down. See, if I click down, so text field has stopped editing and keyboard is went down. Okay, suppose you have a case like you have here multiple text fields, and if any text field uh, on click of return button, you want to edit all the text fields. Okay, so instead of doing everything like text, another text field, then another text field and editing, you know instead of doing that, what you simply do is, this view controller has a view, right? One view. Every view controller has a one base view, this one by default. Okay, so what we do is we ask this view itself, like to end the editing. Okay, so view dot end editing. By doing this also, what this will do is, this will stop all the editings in that view. Means if you are text field, text views, all the things in that view, so it will end the editing for all the things. See, by doing this also, the editing has been stopped. Okay, again after when return key is tapped, or any key, any button has been pressed, if you want to access the text in that text field. Okay, what you how you will access is, text field dot text will give you the text typed over in that text field, what is the text is there. So to see, I will just print that. Okay, so this text was optional one. See, this string optional, so that's why I have to make it a force under. So we can see there what is the force unwrap optionals later. So now I am typing something, sorry, I am trying to type from keyboard of my machine. That's why keyboard is dismissed. Let me type from here. Type anything. Okay, so let me clear this console so that we can clearly see that. Like, click done. See, it's printed here. Type anything, whatever text it has. Okay, so to access that text, we can access like this, text field dot text. Okay, now text view. So these two are almost similar. The major difference between them is text field is single line and text view is multi-line. Okay, right, text view. So I am adding this. So UI text view comes with the default text. I don't want this default text here. Okay, so when coming to the properties, same text, plain or attributed, what text you want. The text color means, link color means blue, the links are blue, right? Font, what is the font? Again, this alignment, left, center, right, or justified. editable. So here is a check mark of editable. If you want this text view as a editable, you have to check this in order to edit the text here. Selectable. Selectable means we have seen the text selectable, right? We can select the text here by double clicking. So if you want this functionality in text view, you select that. Okay. Later, data detectors means if user has been entering any of this, so it will automatically detect those things. If a user has entered phone number there, so it will detect the phone number. If you want to detect phone number, you check this. If you want to detect the link, you check this. Current reverse, all those things. Email address, detect this. Then these are all the text input threads. All are the same. Keyboard type, spell checking, correction, capitalization, content type. All these are similar to text field only. Auto enables return key or this things return key type. Then here comes the scroll view. Actually, scroll view means what? Uh, the content which scrolls. So scroll views also we will be looking later. So this text view comes from scroll view also. So scroll view comes from UI view. Okay, scroll view's main class is UI view, and this text views parent class is scroll view. Means it all comes from UI view only. Okay, so scroll view means text gets scrolled. Okay, it's a larger text. So there are some scroll view functionalities which we will look while discussing the scroll views. Okay, these are the all view functionalities. Okay, so let me simply run this. If we go here, here is that this there is a text view, but it's not visible because we haven't any text, and we haven't any applied borders also. But see, when I click there, the keyboard is coming here. When you click return, the return goes on next lines. Okay, not like text field. Okay, so again, uh, outlet, you can use outlet, you can implement the UI text to delegate also. There are some delegate functions for UI text to also, so you can see those later in documentation. I will share a documentation link for these things. That's about text field and text view. Next one is UI image view. Okay, so image view, let's add a image view in this view controller. Okay, so as said, image view is for to display the images in view. If you click here, image view comes, just drag and drop here. See, in iOS, it's everything about drag and drop only. It's easier, for developers. Okay, so in order to show images, you need some images to be added here. Okay, let me download some images. Let me say flower images. Let me download this flower image so that we will be, and we need this in PNG formats. Actually, it's a JPG formats. So I'm changing the format to PNG and giving this name of flower. That's easier to identify. So this is now flower.png. So I have to add in this project. So you can add anywhere in project directory. I'm adding over here only. So when you're adding, some new files to project, it asks you copy items if needed. And next one is you have to check mark this compulsory. Okay, you have to copy that item inside your project. Then again, it's you to add to targets. Okay, so to this. See flower. Okay, flower.png. Okay, so let's go to storyboard image view. We have taken image view here. So image, now that just type that flower, it will come up there. See, the image has been come up here. Okay, if you run this, see the image has been displayed. Okay, so image view has some properties, like first one is image highlighted image. When this will be highlighted, so you can display another image. You can select the state highlighted or not here. Okay, symbol configuration. These are all the high scale, what scale you want, weight, all those things. Then again, here comes the view content mode. Okay, so content mode, aspect fit. Okay, I have selected aspect fit. If I select aspect fill, see the image has been zoomed up. Aspect fit, what mean by aspect fit is just that fit that image inside this image use rectangle. Okay, maybe image will be squeezing or anything, don't care, just fit in this rectangle. If you select aspect fill, it will it will scale the image so that it can't squeezes or it can't damage, but it will it will scale according to your image use size. See, it's scaling, right? It's scaling the image. And if you select aspect fit, it won't scale. It just it just maintain the image size. See, just maintaining the image resolution, width and height size combination. It's not doing anything. If you click scale to fill, see image is has been scaled down according to the size of our image. You see that image is getting squeezed. Here the image is getting lengthy, all those things. If you select center, the center of the image will be aligned to center of the image. If you select top of the image will be aligned. If you select bottom of the image will be aligned. So we'll keep it aspect fill. Okay, now see how this image has been displayed, and after selecting the aspect fill, see how it looks like. It will look perfect. See, flower has been perfect. It maintained its size but cropped the image. Okay, so that was about image view. If you give outlet for this image view here, you can set the images programmatically, or you can set the background color for that images. Okay, uh, so before we we will do that later, we just add the borders for this text view as it's not visible. So sample text view, I'm giving the name of it. Okay, let's go to second uh, sample controller. I am adding it border. Okay, so you as I said, every UI, every view and control comes from UIView subclass. So UIView has a way to give its the corner radius or a border or everything. Okay, so that's happened through layer. UIView has a layer means it's the visible part. Okay, so I will say sample text view dot layer means I am accessing its layer property and doing the changes over there. If you go to layer, you can see there are some properties. CA layer, it's a CA layer object. It has some thing, all these things, transform, frame, hidden. So like this here in this list we have layer dot corner radius property is also there. Okay, so if I give corner radius 10 means what it will do is it will round off this corners by 10 points. Okay, oh, it's the corner radius 10. It accepts a CG float value. If you see corner radius, what it want a CG float value. Okay, CG floats are floats only, but we have written here integer. Still, it has taken. That's because shift is an intelligent one. It consider this as float value only, CG float value only. Okay, the sample text tube, not layer. Now I want to give it a border. So what I will do is I will give a border color. I want border color of dark gray color. Okay, so if you see this border color, what it accepts is it needs CG color. Here everything is CG color and CG float. Okay, that of type. Okay, why these are means the layer is a CG layer, right? So it accepts only CG color, CG float type OS. So this is the UI color type. How we will convert this to CG color is if you type CG color dot CG color, it will get converted into CG color. A warning will be removed, right? But you have to specify the border width also, like how much the border width will be there. I will say 2.0 means border width means if here is the border, so how much width should be borders, how much pixels like border should be there. So let's do this. I will let you know. See, the corner radius has been come up. Okay, corner radius at every end, and border is also there. See, okay, this dark gray color border. If I make this border width 10 pixels, see how the width will be changed, border width. Okay, see, it has become more thick. Okay, so that's the border width. Okay, okay, so that was about giving the borders and cornering, accessing this layer, right? So clear till now?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, that's it in this session. So what we have done in this session are we have seen the storyboard XIBs, how to use storyboards, how to what is the view controller, what is the view window, some this button label and all these things,
Okay.
how
Yes, sir.
to work with them in storyboard and programmatically. Okay, so we will stop this session here,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we will continue next session on next day.
Sir,
Okay.
I want to talk to you means after stopping it.
Sorry,
I
you have any
means
doubts?
yes, sir. Means after you stop recording,
Yeah,
I
we
will.
can discuss doubts in after this session.
Okay.